Applause after each song is totally appropriate. There's all kinds of places to go if you have a crying child. You can even see us through the windows, and I bet you could probably hear us through the windows as well. So I'm so excited to show off all these things the students have worked on. We're going to start on our warm-up that we play in class every day. It's the first 5 notes that we learned together. And fun fact, we learned these first 5 notes at home on computer screens. So some of you probably heard these in your living room, kitchens, bedrooms, all the places. So now you're going to get to hear our ensemble together on our warm-up. We call it 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. We hope you enjoyed this part of the concert. Thank you. Okay, I was so excited I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Kirk, by the way. We are really fortunate to have 2 band teachers here at CMA because we have a very large program. So to my right is Mrs. Dirksen, and she's going to be taking our group through some of our first concert songs. Our first song is March Steps.
Hi, I'd also like to add my welcome. I'm so glad that you're here and that your child is participating in our band program. Now, you may have thought to yourself, well, that song was pretty short. Yeah, it was. But just being able to play those H measures together, that represents an awful lot of learning. We had different notes played at the same time. Did you see their feet tapping? See how they were tapping, right? We've learned to keep the beat and play at the same time as one another. That's actually a big deal to have that rhythm going and to be able to do that. So there's a lot of skills that they just showed you in those H measures that they just played. Our next song, I think you will recognize, Mozart's Melody, otherwise known as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. song you also heard practiced in your house. Hopefully you heard that one at home at least a few times. The next song is a little bit longer. This one is called Doodle All Day. And you'll hear in this one, you will hear all of us play it. And then you'll hear just the woodwind instruments, and then just the brass instruments, and then everyone together again. So it'll give you some different sounds to listen for. Doodle All Day. Probably noticed that we have a different kind of mask that we are wearing right now as part of our COVID precautions to keep everyone safe. We call these our player masks. And so you'll notice that the students are bringing their instruments up to their mouths. They have to get it through their player mask. That is something that they have been real troopers about doing. It makes it just a little bit more complicated than it is otherwise. Of course, we hope that by the fall we will no longer need those. That's our hope anyway. We will see. But the students have been absolutely great about everything. Really, they're doing such a nice job. Our next song is Skip to My Lou.
Our next song is Hey Ho Nobody's Home, and this is one of the two songs that we are playing in a round. So you'll actually hear one group begin this song, and that is going to be our brass instruments. That's your trumpet, trombone, and baritone. And then our second group will enter after the brass play, and that's our woodwinds, which is our flutes, clarinet, saxophones, and of course our bells are joining on that as well. So we hope you enjoy this portion of the program. independent playing, and then being able to keep a steady pulse as someone around you is playing a different part. We enjoy teaching rounds because it starts to teach our students how to play independently, and then that then progresses into some of the concert music that we play in our older groups. The next piece we're going to be playing is Farajaka. This is another round, but this time our woodwinds and bells will be starting us, and then you will hear the brass come in. So before our final piece, I have to brag on this wonderful group. First off, beginners in non-COVID times with this kind of sound is something to be super proud of. They are doing so well, so we just have to clap for them again. And then I know we can all agree this has been quite the year. As a teacher in the arts, last year at this time, when the schools, we started teaching from home, that was so hard as we saw programs getting canceled. We heard of colleagues across the country who weren't able to teach band, choir, orchestra. And last summer was really, really sad for me and for Mrs. Dirksen, my husband's a band teacher, as we were watching what was going on in the world and wondering what was going to happen to the fine arts, because we all know that in times like this it is so important to have a way to express yourself that doesn't involve a computer screen. And I was so relieved and so happy to hear that our district was so supportive of keeping fine arts in the schools. And a shout out to our own administration, Chris McCullough Academy, who, when we came back in the fall and we knew we were going to be full remote, my administration came down and sat down with me and said, how can we keep this program thriving? And these kids here, as beginners, and as our older kids will play later, will show you that we haven't just survived this year, we really thrived. And we've been so fortunate to have students that have never complained. I mean, maybe they complain a little, like behind my back, but they don't complain to us. They have done everything right to keep each other safe and to keep learning music. Every one of these students started their instrument on a computer screen in their home. I didn't even think we could do that. I didn't think that was a possibility, and it's certainly not something, when we went to school to be teachers, we ever thought we would do. But sitting on monitors, figuring out how to play an instrument, so many of what they've done has just been completely on their own. And when they came back in the spring, which we really haven't even had them back for more than a couple months, and we heard those first sounds in the band room, it was beautiful. And that was all them. And it's so encouraging to know that we have students this age who are willing to put that work in, because this takes a lot of work and discipline. And if you were to walk into our classes, and you guys can agree, most days we're pretty quiet and we're pretty focused. Okay, we talk a little bit, but they are working for 90 minutes, and it's just been so much fun. And I'm so glad that you can hear them play, and that they're playing so very well. So we are so proud of them. Before we play our final song is Cadets on Parade. A few things, just kind of housekeeping things. As soon as we're done with our final piece, we would encourage you to get your child and exit quickly, because we have another group coming in. And again, in non-COVID times, that wouldn't be a concern, but we're going to spray down everything and change over. But you have some amazing kids, and this job is so much fun. And I actually didn't think that teaching band in a COVID year would be fun, but this has been a blast, and you all make it fun to come to school every day. So I hope you enjoy our final piece, Cadets on Parade. Band students, if you are a woodwind, remember we need you to bring your instruments back. Well, Academy, we're so glad you're with us. You probably saw in front of you on your seat a kind of barcode, a QR code. The program is in there. This is one of our COVID-friendly precautions. So I'm sure all of you have done QR codes, but you just hold your camera up there and you can follow the link. And there's all kinds of great information in there. Behind me is our 7th and 8th grade band. We have, most of these students have been face-to-face for this quarter, but we do have some remote students that are joining us. And then we have other students that are in the program as well, and you'll see all those names on the back. I'll be talking more about our journey here in the last year, but I want you to hear the band first. So our first song is a march, Union March. So we have waited over a year to be able to do something like that, perform for an audience again. And this band, both of these bands, they do meet separately, have been so much fun to work with. And we haven't had a concert since last March. So this is really exciting for us. We're so glad you all are here. In this band behind me, we have 7th and 8th grade. So these are students who have played their instruments for 2 and 3 years. But I would argue in pandemic times, it's more like 1 and 2 years because we lost so much time in the spring. The amazing thing about these students is that they all have been working so hard. When we were at home in the fall, we had them playing along, virtual band. I know a lot of you know that because you experienced virtual band along with us, and God bless you. So, I mean, I saw people's living rooms, kitchens, tubas in kitchens, flutes in living rooms, and it was a lot of fun. So it was really, really fun when we were able to come back in person and make music. As you're looking behind me, you might notice they are playing with masks on. This is one of our COVID precautions. This allows us to stay safe while performing. You will also notice there's a lot of space between them. That makes it a lot harder because we work so hard on listening and we have all of this space. These masks are called player masks, and they actually have openings that they bring the instrument into. And I'm sure this doesn't surprise you, but we don't like them very much, and they're hard to use. These students did not complain. I had this whole big speech prepared for like the first day about how we have to do this and all this, and they just kind of were like, whatever, we'll do it. And they did it, and they've just been troopers. It does make it harder to use your air, and they are just being phenomenal with that too. So we're really, really proud of all of the work they have put in. And you're going to hear more as the concert progresses. Our second piece, Tambora, is going to be directed by one of our other teachers at Christopher Academy, Mrs. Mona Dirksen. I know she's right here. Do you want to say anything else, or should I turn it off? Here you go.
Hi, I would like to also welcome you to our concert. So our next piece is called Tambora, and this piece is supposed to depict a volcanic eruption about 200 years ago in Indonesia. Actually, Mount Tambora erupted, the volcano. So this piece you will hear it starting slow, and then it will get faster. You'll hear some foot stomping in the middle, some hand clapping. So we have some different effects going on in this. So we hope you enjoy Tambora.
Okay, well, our percussion gets set, and we're going to play our final piece. I want to thank all of you. On the back page of our program, we do have a lot of places for thanks, but one of the groups that we are so grateful for is the support that our students have at home from parents and guardians. This year, you have been so supportive getting supplies for your students, letting them play along in virtual rehearsals, encouraging them to continue. In a time when everything is kind of shifted to a computer screen, it is very rewarding to see middle schoolers making music. This takes a lot of work and a lot of commitment. And these students do this every day when they come to class. We are in these block schedules. We have 90-minute rehearsals. We literally give them like 10 minutes of what we call walk and talk, where we literally walk back and forth in the auditorium and talk. And then they come back in and they get right to work. It's so nice to be able to make music. When we were, a year ago, looking at the wonderful pandemic that we went through here, we were so concerned about losing the arts. I know Mrs. Dirksen and I talked a lot. My husband's a band teacher. I remember when we shifted to online learning, I wondered what that would mean for performing ensembles. And last summer was really hard, watching all of the different things we love not being able to happen because we weren't able to be in the arts and to perform. This fall, when we knew we were shifting to fully online school, I was so concerned about what that meant for our band program here. At our school, we are so fortunate, and in our district as well with our district leadership, to have really supportive administration, so that is another group we definitely want to thank. I know this fall, when I was super stressed about what band would mean, I had administrators come in and sit down and talk with me about what they could do to help our program thrive. And that word, we haven't just survived with these kids this year, we have definitely thrived. You have such wonderful students. I think they actually deserve a clap for that. especially our students that are continuing into high school, especially now more than ever, to play an instrument and to be in the arts is such a life skill, especially right now in the times we are living in. And these students play at a very high level. We are so impressed with all of the work they've done. They make it so fun to come to school every day. And we are just so grateful for them. And I'm actually, although I love summer, I'm a little bit bummed because standing in front of a group and hearing them play is the coolest thing. One quick story, and then we will play. We have students coming back in the room, and we had a remote student that came who had not played in an ensemble yet. And they walked into the room, and they turned to me and they said, "Oh my goodness, I can actually feel the sound." And that is such a good description. When you sit inside an ensemble like this, you actually get to feel the sound waves around you, and it's such a cool experience. So, our final piece, Tempest. We're kind of going with the theme here. We talked about a volcanic eruption. Now we're talking about a storm. So, Tempest is about a storm. You will hear all kinds of different sounds from the ensemble, a lot of heavy percussion. This is one of our favorite pieces to play. And again, thank you for coming this evening. We hope you enjoy our final piece, Tempest. Okay, so that concludes our concert tonight. If there are a couple of you that would love to help put away folding chairs, We would like that. We get to clear all of this out, so just come on down here and we'll give you a job. Band students, we're going to send you over there to put instruments away, get your cases, and meet your adults. And we will